Okay, so at this station, we're going to work on building a graph. There should be graph paper at the station. Go ahead and watch this video while you build this first graph together. It's going to be based on the deer, the game outside we did on Friday, where we each round was a year, and then I kept track of the number of deer per year. So first things first, with a deer or a population graph, typically time is on the bottom. So we did 10 rounds. That means that there's basically 10 years. So the first thing we need to do is set our scale. The bottom here is what's considered to be the x-axis, and x-axis is where time will go. And if you were to count up all our lines, starting with this as basically 0 and just kept going, you're going to notice all the way at the end, we have a total of 30 lines available. So here's what we can do. If we have 30 lines, and it's going to work out quite well for this one, we have 10 years to deal with. 30 divided by 10, basically it's 3 lines per year will be our scale. So let's go ahead and get that set up. So 3 lines, every 3 lines is a year. So we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. So this would be 1. And if we keep counting, this would be 1, 2, 3. This would be 2. 1, 2, 3. This would be 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3, 6. 1, 2, 3, 7. 1, 2, 3, 8. 1, 2, 3, 9. And then 1, 2, 3. This one right here will be our last and final year. And you can see if we did not figure out our scale, basically our graph would take up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if we just numbered by ones, our graph paper, our graph, when we plot it, would only take up this much room. So we had to set the scale. We did 30 divided by 10 again equals 3 lines per year. So we just counted 3. 1, 2, 3, and that's 1, and so forth. So you can go ahead and get that set up as I clean up the board here. Whenever you make a graph, you also want to label your X and Y axis. So this is identifying, this is time, and our unit is years. So we're off to a good start. So the next thing we need to do is actually look at our deer population. So that is going to go on the y-axis. So this right here is the y-axis, and that's where we're going to set up our scale for the deer. If you were to count it as you went up, and starting with this being 1, this being 2, you're actually going to see that at the very, very top, this right here would be 40. So what we have is we have 40 lines. Our maximum number of deer is what we want to look at because we want to be able to fit it in. Year 4, year 6 has 20 deer. So we have a total of 40 divided by 20. So 40 divided by 20 is 2. It's basically 2 lines per deer is what we need to get. So we're going to count every 2 lines is 1 deer. So when you're on the smart board, it's going to be a little bit messier. We're going to go ahead and clean this up. And we can go ahead and set our scale for that. So we're basically, if this was 0, we'd go 1, 2, 1, 2. This would be 1 deer. 1, 2. This would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we got to keep working up. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and our very, very last line there would be 20. Okay, so now we have our scale set for the X and the Y. We do need to label the Y as, and it's a little tough on the smart board, it should be easier if you're on paper, but basically it's population. I'm just going to identify that as population. And then what we're working with are deer. And now we're basically going to do an XY kind of scatter plot, it's called, where we're going to plot a point for every year and the number of deer in there. So if you look in your notebooks, year 1, we basically had 10 deer. So year 1, which is right here, year 1, I'm going to have to scroll up. Year 1, and we are going to put a population of 10. If you look at year 2, which gets tough when it's on the smart board, but year 2, which would be 3 lines over, so I'm going to go down, and I'm going to go up to year, I'd have to work up this way, year 2, and I would have to find 19 individuals. So year 2 is 19. So it looks like that would be going to be right here. So that would be another point. Then I'd go year 3 is 18. So 1, 2, 3 is 18. Year 4 is 20 again. And year 5 jumps all the way down to 14. So year 5 looks like it'd be right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys finish plotting those points. So you need to do the rest of the years, but when you're finished, please go ahead and grab a ruler and make a straight edge. And we're going to say that our population started the first year was 10. So we're going to basically start at this point right there, and we need to go all the way up to year 2, which isn't the easiest thing to do on a smart board, but we should grab a ruler. Hopefully I can keep moving this along, but I would need to take this point all the way to there. There would be my first line, and then the next one, I'm going to go from here to here. Okay, and the next one, I'm going to go from here to here. And then the next one, I'm going to go from here to here. So you guys basically continue plotting your points, then grab a ruler, put your straight edge on it, make your graph, and then there's some questions to answer regarding the trend.